I will be reviewing and going over a few of the features of the Feiyu WG2X 3-axis wearable gimbal. It comes in this travel case, pretty handy. The instructions that come with this are not really too informative. You could tell they were written outside of the United States, and it's just really brief. It's like a quick guide for how to kind of just turn it on and whatnot. But this is what the package looks like. There wasn't much online on this, and the information or the quick guide that it comes with isn't really too informative either. So figured I'd go over a few things. In this box you get some of the extra hardware. The charging cord comes in it as well. This is for the Succession, I believe. I don't have one, so I just left it in there. First thing I did, turned it on. It's kind of weird, it doesn't really go over, like I said, in the instructions on anything. First thing you want to do when you get the camera in here, tighten these down, and you want to balance the gimbal. So you see, it's kind of top heavy right here where the motor is. But if you loosen this nut up right here, you're able to then slide this piece of the gimbal in and out. And by doing so, you can help balance the actual gimbal itself. So let's just say the camera's in here right now. I would move this piece left or right until it would balance itself perfectly to where the gimbal itself is off, but the camera is still sitting in this orientation, without any effort of the motors. And also, when I got this, I didn't know if it was charged. I tried to turn it on, and because it wasn't balanced, I just assumed it was defective. A lot of the reviews, it seems like a lot of people got defective gimbals whenever they ordered the item. But I thought it was worth it for the price point, and being that it's able to get splashed on and not really get messed up. I was planning on using it for snowboarding. So anyway, the battery was almost fully charged when I got it. Once you put the camera in and everything, kind of get it semi-balanced, you'll hold the power button on the side, and it will then turn on. See, it vibrates right now because it's trying to balance itself. Let's just turn it on. So, see what it's doing right there? It turns off right away. That's what it kept on doing to me right when I pulled it out of the box. So I was freaking out, thinking that it wasn't going to work. The gimbal wasn't strong enough to hold the camera up, etc., etc. So only until I balanced the gimbal by moving this did it actually begin to work as it was designed. So just keep that in mind whenever you open the box. You want to balance the gimbal before you try and turn it on or anything. Alright, I went and got my GoPro to kind of show you guys how it works. So I loosen this up. I'm going to push this out until it's somewhat balanced. See, that's too far. Okay, so you see the gimbal is off right now, and with the camera in it, it's balanced. So the next thing you want to do, turn it on, and you'll see the light come on. It'll beep, and it'll kind of point in the direction it's going to be focusing on. There's 3 different modes you can get with this. If you click once, it's the basic mode where it just keeps the focus on the same location where you pointed initially, and it will do its best to try and maintain that focus on that one location. If you click it twice, it will then slowly move in the direction that you want to go. If you look up, it'll slowly turn the camera up, it'll slowly turn the camera down. If you look left, right, it'll try and smoothly look in the direction that you're pointing. If you press it 3 times, it goes into selfie mode, and it turns the camera around and faces towards you. So click it once. Once you go into selfie mode, you can't get it back into another mode unless you turn it off and restart it. So if you want, like, let's say for example the camera's facing this direction. If I want it to face in an upward direction, I just turn the camera, hold it for 1 second. You'll feel a slight click, and that's the new setting. That's the new home base of where the camera is focused on. It's pretty neat feature. It's fairly quick. Some of the issues that I have with it are, you know, sometimes you turn it on, you have it balanced perfectly, and for some reason you gotta try and turn it on 2, 3, 4 times because it'll turn on and it senses like it's out of balance. Watch, let me put the camera out of balance. So you turn it on, you know, it tries to balance itself and it just turns itself off. So, you know, right now it's unbalanced, but if you were to sometimes randomly, even when the camera is balanced on the gimbal, it will try and turn on and it'll turn off as if it is not balanced. So it's a little frustrating when you're trying to deal with it, when you know the camera's balanced and you know you got to sit there and turn it on 2, 3, 4 times trying to get the initial home base to turn on. But you know, that's for the price point, it's really not that bad, not that big of an issue to take an extra 10 seconds, you know. Another thing, snowboarding, sometimes if I fell or there was too much movement, it would like freak out and the gimbal would just, you know, be all of a sudden like turn around and be facing like directly at itself like this or something like that. So there was a few clips that I had where I had to sit there and, you know, readjust the camera, and sometimes if you move, like let's say the camera's facing towards the gimbal this way, if I tried to turn it all the way and hold it like this to reestablish the direction, it would freak out and turn off. So I would have to end up, you know, let's say it's pointed this way, I'd have to like turn it a third of the way, reestablish the home base, turn it another third of the way, reestablish the point of angle, and then, you know, finally the third movement put it in the angle that I wanted. So it's just a little cumbersome sometimes, but that was only a few times. If you wanted to see the video, see the quality of gimbal that this actually is, I'll post a link to the video I made for snowboarding in the description, as well as I'll post it on the top of the screen right about here. One of the big complaints I have about it is, you can see over here, I have a big piece of duct tape over it. So the first day, after the first day of using it, I was going to charge it. You know, I charged it and everything was good, and then I tried to pull the charger out and the actual rubber piece that covers the charge port just broke off, and you know, it's just very poorly designed, poorly made. You could see the little hole above the charge port where the rubber piece was attached, and it was just very poorly made. That's, you know, for a splash proof gimbal, you think that the biggest point of entry of liquid, they would make a better design to keep water out, but you know, snowboarding, it's not a whole bunch of water, it's just snow, so I just went ahead and taped it up. Also, if you notice this little dot right here, that's how you tell if it's charged or not. That'll turn red when it's charging and it'll turn green when it's fully charged, so it's kind of tricky to see. The light must be recessed in that hole a little bit, but you know, once you plug it in, you'll be able to tell. Just set it in a way where you can kind of keep an eye on it. But overall, for the price point, 160 bucks, I would definitely say it's worth it, you know, to have that extra gimbal smoothness. You know, 165 bucks, definitely worth it. I feel like it made my video quality a lot better compared to some of my older snowboarding videos where, you know, my video is just constantly shaking the entire time. I will say though that I don't know if all the kits will come with this in the future, but when I bought this kit, it came with a actual pole that you would screw into the bottom of this and use it kind of, you know, to extend the camera out, hold the camera, whatever, like a grip stick type thing. Within the first 2 hours of using it up on the mountain, the actual plastic piece that attaches to the port that screws into here, it just completely snapped off. So if yours does come with that piece, definitely don't trust that grip stick. You know, use a different manufacturer, design, whatever you want to do. Just don't use the one it comes with, because luckily I was sitting down when it broke, but you know, if you're on the mountain, if you're, you know, riding a motorcycle, anything, you know, that could damage your camera, that could damage the gimbal. You know, if that just breaks off at the wrong time, that's definitely a big issue. I don't even know why they sent that with it, because it's so cheaply made, but you know, it is the best price point for a 3-axle gimbal that you can wear that's on the market. So I mean, I guess you get what you pay for to a certain extent, but the quality definitely does feel like it's very well built. It actually is a lot better built than I expected it to be whenever I first made the purchase. So I'm happy. I'm happy with the design, happy with the product, you know, aside from a few little odds and ends here and there. Like I said, it's hard to beat for the price point.